Hello everyone, Legend of Eon here, and I have for you guys another EDH deck, and I asked my friend if I could showcase it, and he said sure. So, my friend runs Narset, Enlightened Master. She is 6 mana for 3/2, first strike, hexproof. Whenever she attacks, you exile the top 4 cards of your library, and you may cast any of those cards that are not lands and not creatures, because you can't cast lands, without paying their mana costs. So that's pretty busted. Now, that's kind of the win con in the deck, you just play free spells. So yeah. So without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. Start off with the lands. Command Tower, Opal Palace, Mystic Monastery, the Darkar Waste, Battlefield Forge, Azorius Guildgate, Izzet Guildgate, Temple of Epiphany, Temple of Triumph, Tranquil Cove, Windscarred Crag, Swift Water Cliffs, Reliquary Tower, Command Beacon, really nice because your commander does cost 6, and so bringing it back to your hand instead of paying like, 4 extra mana or something like that, it's really nice. Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expense, run 9 islands, 6 mountains, and 6 plains. Ooh. Onto the mana rocks. Soul Ring, Mind Stone, Thought Vessel, Fellwar Stone, Izzet Signet. Because we don't run green, all the signets are amazing, so Zora's Signet, Boros Signet, Commander Sphere, Monolith, Jeskai Banner. You can also draw a card. Darksteel Ignite, so if your opponent just planar cleansing or something, it's indestructible. Chromatic Lantern, makes all your lands tap for any color. Gilded Lotus, or wannabe Black Lotus. What? Except you don't have to sacrifice it. What? Sensei's Divining Top. Lightning Greaves, so, Lightning Greaves and Swift Foot Boots are really good because when you cast Narset, you don't want Narset to be like a sitting duck. You want to like play her, attack, do stuff with them. Sonic Resonator, so again with Narset, instead of exiling just 4, you'd exile 8 and potentially play 8 free cards. Pretty nutty. Scroll Rack, so if you're drawing into the cards that you don't want to play, potentially, you can put those cards aside from your hand. You draw that many cards, so say for example I put 3 cards aside, I'm just using an example, I put 3 cards aside, then I draw 3 cards from my deck, I put the cards from my hand on top of my deck in any order, and then I attack. So really nice, just stacking. Crystal Ball is again just a scrying. The Chain Veil, well, this card is just pretty much infinite combo with Teferi Temporal Archmage. So yeah, pretty busted. Norn's Anax? I don't know how to pronounce that. But anyway, it's like a mini propaganda, mini ghostly prism if you want to think about it. Just creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays a Phyrexian with white mana or 2 life. So pretty good. If they attack with 10 creatures, they gotta pay 10 white mana, or what is it, 20 life? No, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's 10 life, sorry. Yeah, it is 20 life. If they attack with 10 creatures, yeah, that's 20 life. I did my math right. So yeah, really nice. On to continuation. So Mystic Soul Tutor, just search for wherever instant or sorceries. Lion Tuner searches for artifact or enchantment. Again, just giving your creature haste, which is really good. So you don't actually enchant this to a creature, you just enchant a land, which is really nice. Because if they kill Narset, this card dies, so they have to kill the land instead. So you just exile creature, they gain life, make a creature a land. Cyclonic Rift, so with Narset, you're not allowed to use the overload cost. I'm not actually sure, because you just get to play it for free. Because I think the overload cost is an alternate cost. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not for sure. So correct me if I'm wrong. long-term plans. So for whatever reason, if your opponent's like milling you cards, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make you mill 3 for whatever reason, you can just, in response, long-term plans becomes short-term plans. Pretty good. Frantic Search, just draw cards. Oath of Jace, this card's really nice because you just, at the beginning of your upkeep, you just start scrying a bajillion cards equal to the number of planeswalkers you control. It's really good. Fervor, so pretty much just, again, haste. You just want to play your Narset and attack with Narset. Chaos Warp, just gets things off the field, and hopefully don't get anything better. Fact or Fiction, just really good card. Super solid. Draw. More draw cards, and then you can also proliferate, which can help your planeswalkers loyalty counters. Relentless Assault, again, you just get so not really good, but this lets you get an extra combat, so you just attack again with Narset. It's super busted. Really good. Just, you know, board wipe, uncounterable board wipe. So again, with this card, you just, any card you cast with Narset, if you have this card in Narset out, and you have any planeswalkers, you have to put another counter on those planeswalkers, which is really nice. And every time you cast any spell. Amazing. Scry X, where X is just equal to the CMC. And then you draw 2 cards. I mean, you draw 3 cards. Ah. More combats. You have to remember to play this only during your combat, because Narset said that you can pretty much play until the end of the turn. You may cast any of those cards exile with Narset without paying a mana cost, and since this is an instant during your combat phase, you can just cast it, which is amazing. Terminus, just getting rid of creatures. You get to pretty much have another combat. It's amazing, and with Narset, it's free. What? Draw cards, and draw more cards. Well, not really drawing. You get to put cards from your library to your hand. This card's actually really crazy. You just start exiling almost everything. You exile everything but enchantments and auras. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know what else you couldn't exile with this. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, and then when you cycle, sorry, you get to destroy all lands. Pretty crazy. Alright. So in this deck, my friend does play 2 creatures. One of them is Silent Arbiter, where no more than 1 creature can attack each combat and no more than 1 creature can block. So really just nice, like if your opponent has like 50 creatures out, well, only 1 of them can attack and only 1 can block. So no point in having so many creatures. And then we have Deep Glow Skate. This card is really amazing because you have any planeswalkers out, it just doubles. Well, not necessarily only just planeswalkers, but it's any kind of counters on permanents, but mainly it's just towards planeswalkers, so it's just crazy nutty card. Alright, so those are the 2 other creatures other than Narset. And on to the planeswalkers. So I realized that the planeswalkers, there are a few planeswalkers in here, and it's gonna take me a while to go through all of them. And so I think either you can just pause the video, or I'll just kind of just skim through ish, I guess, and I'll just read the alt, I guess, if you want me to. I'll just read the alts. So the alt of this card is you gain an emblem with whenever you cast a spell that targets 1 or more permanents, you gain control of that permanent. So yeah, because of Teferi and the Chain Veil, you can pretty much just alt every single planeswalker you have in the deck. It's busted. So his alt, Jonny's Steadfast, is whenever a source would deal damage to your planeswalker you control, you can prevent all of that damage but 1. So they attack with, they have like 100, I don't know, 1/1 creatures, and they deal 100 damage. Well, it's only gonna deal only 1. So yeah, I think. Or for example, a creature that's a 10/10 will only do 1 damage. I guess that's a better example. A Jonny Vengeance, sorry. So its ult is destroy all lands target player controls. Pretty gross. Jace the Mind Sculptor, its ult is exile all cards from target player's library. All your cards from your library are exiled, and then that player shuffles his or her hand to his library. So your library now becomes your hand, which is very mean. So make sure you have cards in your hand when your opponent chases you. This ult is each player shuffle his or her hand and graveyard into his or her library, and then you draw 7 cards. So everyone just, yeah. So you have no cards in your hand, you have no graveyard, and you draw 7. It's really good. So this ult is pretty much for each heads, you get an extra turn. You get to flip 5 coins, and for each heads, you get an extra turn. Narset bits herself. I'm just kidding. So Narset Transcendent, her ult is you get an emblem with your opponents cannot cast non-creature spells. They can only cast creature spells now, which is kind of a bummer. It's now pretty good though. Nahiri's ult is search your library for an artifact or creature and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. It gains haste until you return to the hand at the beginning of the next end step. So once you end your turn, it bounces. Dovin Ban. Its ult is you get an emblem with your opponents cannot untap more than 2 permanents during their untap step. Pretty good. Stacks. Tamiyo's ult is you get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size, and whenever a card is put into your graveyard from anywhere, you may return it to your hand. So if your opponent mills you, you get it back. Jace's ult is you get an emblem with whenever an opponent casts his or her first spell, each turn it gets countered. Pretty good. Fencer, its ult is whenever you cast a spell, exile a target permanent. Yeah, that's pretty good. Teferi, Temporal Archmage. So this with the Chain Veil is obviously the infinite combo with any other like mana rocks that you can use to pay for the 4 mana and then just start ulting all your planeswalkers. It's pretty gross. So its ult is you get an emblem with you may activate loyalty abilities of planeswalkers of any planeswalkers you want that you control on any player's turn anytime you can cast an instant. So you can do instant speed. Pretty gross. And pretty good. It's amazing. Chandra, you can pretty much just kill any creature you want, almost. Her ult is just, you deal X damage to each creature. So you're just gonna, if you have the infinite combo, you pretty much just kill any creature. Yeah, it's pretty good. Elspeth, Sun's Champion, get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+2, and have flying. So with this, you can just start upping, you just start pumping all your cards or whatever, and then you can ult them like as many times as you want. So it's pretty gross. Ugin, its ult is you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, then put up to 7 permanents from your hand onto the battlefield. Not the cards that you drew. I mean, like, I guess you can too, but if you have permanents from your hand previously before that you want to put into play, go for it. It's a mini Narset. I see the bigger version of Narset, I suppose. It's really good. So yeah, that is the deck for you guys. And my friends also, he wanted to run like Fevered Visions and Mind's Dilation, so just people just being able to draw extra cards, but it punishes them instead of rewarding them, so it's kind of cool. And then you just pretty much get their first spell, so it's kind of gross, but yeah. So with this combo, or with this deck, you just want to play stuff for free. It's a pretty fun deck to play, and yeah, it's pretty hard to play against sometimes because you have to play all the things for free with Narset. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the deck, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I can see you guys next time. And don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you liked it, and let me know what I should do next. Alright, take care, bye!